Alright guys, moving on to Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives from 1986, directed by Tom McLaughlin. And it was funny, I mentioned in the video before this, I couldn't find my regular hat, so I'm wearing my lucky, that's not lucky, Irish hat. Turned out being a little lucky because I forgot that there was a case of Heineken in the fridge. So this is going to be a fun night. And Argento is probably definitely not happening tonight. Like, I can say that right now. With the mood I'm in and everything, Friday all the way. Like, it's going to be probably through Jason Goes to Hell tonight. Like, for sure. And then with Argento, I'm up to basically the end of his greatness anyway. Like, I got Opera, and I want to do Two Evil Eyes and Trauma. After that, like, if I can find Stenhall Syndrome online, then I'll do that, and Mother of Tears. That's basically it with Argento. And then I was going to do Demons 2, and The Church, which aren't directed by him, but the screenplays are by him, so I'll just do that whenever. It doesn't have to be in Argento August, which is ending, and the Suspiria remake, which isn't directed by him either, so that falls under the same category. So we can move back on to Friday the 13th, directed by Tom McLaughlin. I think I said that. First thing I could say with this movie is the tone. How it's completely different from the first 5 movies in this franchise. Like I said in the last video, that even though Friday 5 doesn't have Jason, and it's a verily, I just make words up. Everyone should know this shit by now. Fucking. If there's a word that doesn't make sense coming out of my mouth, or a thought or anything like that, trust me, it made sense here. There was just like an issue between here and there. And I'll just make shit up and it'll make sense. So the whole tone though with this movie is so much more comedic and so much more just silly in like a lot of ways, which is probably why this is my favorite in the franchise alongside 3 growing up as a kid, because of just the quirkiness to this movie and the tone and just how stupid at times it is, and like all of that probably played into why this was a favorite of mine growing up, like for sure. I mean, we even have the James Bond parody opening with Jason walking into frame and then turning sideways at the camera and slashing it with the machete, like old James Bondish, like funny, but I mean, it's not the Friday the 13th we've known from the 5 films before this. But you know what? It's good though when they change things up like that. I mean, how many movies in a row can you have just a group of teenagers at a camp being murdered by Jason over and over again? Like 3 is the answer basically, because after that they started changing it up a little. Like they threw the Jarvis family into 4, which still didn't really change it that much, but at least there was a family there. Like it wasn't just a bunch of random kids. And then with 5 they switched the location up and had a whole non-Jason mystery killer again. Now going back to this, they have to change it in some way. So I mean, just 1 second. Man, I fucking love Heineken. I used to grow up on Heineken, and then, I don't know, I just like lost my taste for beer for like a good 15 years until it came back. I don't know. And I forgot what I was even talking about. But even the title of this movie, being Jason Lives, still kind of doesn't make sense. Like, this is the most dead we've ever seen Jason. Like, deader than dead. Like, he's a fucking zombie from this movie forward. So Jason Lives? I don't know. I could have came up with a better title than that. Like, we've seen him, like, axed in the head. We've seen him taking stab wounds and machetes all over his body. We've seen this guy beat to living hell. And he was still alive. Then he finally died. And now he lives. But he's dead. I don't know. The whole title doesn't make any sense at all. Like, one bit. They could have thought of something better than that. The whole digging up Jason thing, I mean, obviously, this is a whole homage to fucking Frankenstein. Like the whole way they bring him back. Like they don't even try to be subtle with that. And him in the coffin with all the maggots and everything looks really cool. And I mentioned in one of my Argento in Phenomena, for Argento's Phenomena, in that video for that. It must be something with Italian maggots. Like U.S. maggots don't have the same type of screen presence that Italian maggots seem to have. Because whenever I see like this movie or rewatch this or see other American films with like maggots on something or on a corpse and stuff, Fulci doesn't come to mind. Like hardly ever. But like in Argento's Phenomena, when I was rewatching that, every time they had maggots all over the place or on a rotting corpse, just Fulci comes to mind immediately. So I don't know the difference between Italian maggots and American maggots, but there seems to be a difference because one has a Fulci stage presence while the other one does not seem to have that. So who would care to even dig Jason a grave? Like he's a fucking mass murderer. Like a fucking serial killer to the extreme of this insane legend that this town has had for decades and decades, since when he first originally supposedly drowned. Who would even give him a grave? Just roll that body into an unmarked fucking ditch and like be done with it. Like you're just going to be spreading the legend. Like this movie is just like case in point. Like Tommy goes to where his grave is and digs him up, and none of this movie would have happened if it wasn't for Tommy, like resurrecting Jason. So like the whole point of putting him in a named grave makes no sense at all. Like this town really cares to do things by the books, to put this fucking murderer in a marked grave. Like even Pamela, like the mother, just had her name and the date that she was born to when she died. And it was on like the side of a road, like a tiny ass little fucking like cemetery. I think there were like 3 other gravestones in part 4 when they show that grave. This Jason gets an actual plot and the fucking I don't know. It's just fucking ridiculous. And then we get the heart rip out kill, which looks cool. A lot of the same complaints with this movie as part 5. Like there's some cool kills in here, but we don't see anything. Like it's all off screen, like for the most part, which sucks, man. Like it does. Like that's the whole reason that us as slasher fans love the Friday the 13th series, is the kills. Like as a slasher fan in general, for any types of slashers, that's what I watch slashers for, is fucking gore, inventive kills, and like great practical effects work, and gratuitous nudity, and like some likable characters, a cool killer or something. Like that's it. Like this doesn't have a lot of that, which sucks, man. But like it's still a fun watch, like for sure. And then we do get, I was right in part 4, where they have the sheriff does confirm that Mrs. Jarvis was killed by Jason. Said like, weren't you the one whose family and mother was killed by that psychopath or something like that? So yeah, he confirms her death. I mean, which we didn't really need confirmation of, like after 5, since like if she was alive, why would Tommy be in and out of like fucking homes and shit like that, like insane asylums or wherever the fuck that is? But she's dead, and we know that now for sure. And stealing a gun from a sheriff station, like, dude, like, that is the last thing that you want to do. And that is the last thing that they are going to fucking stand for. Like, this guy is not leaving that cell, and he's having charges pressed against him for sure in this situation. They're going to let him pick a shotgun up off their wall and try to, like, what, leave the station with it? Like, and they just, like, lock him up for what? For him to rest a bit, and they were going to take him to county lines? Get the fuck out of here. Like, he would be charged immediately. That is so fucking, what a stupid move to do. And then, like, we get, like, some meta stuff here, like, with that couple, and, it's killing me where the husband is from. Like, he's been in other stuff. So it's cool to see, like, old, younger him. Like, good for him. He's still getting work. I can't think of with what, but, like, I've seen him in a lot of other things. And the dad in Last House on the Left remake. Pretty sure that's him. And he's been in a decent amount of things, but he's driving with his girlfriend or whatever in the car, and they see Jason just standing there at the end of the road, and she's like, I've seen enough horror movies to know that a man wearing a mask is never a good thing, or something like that. Like, nice little meta humor thrown in there. Fucking 10 plus years, 10 years or so since fucking Scream, before Scream came out. And then he stabs that guy with a spear. Then he stabs the woman in the face with this. It looks like a spear. Who the fuck knows at this point? It's a sharp object. And the whole American Express gag, dates this movie so much. It really does. That's one thing in this franchise that seriously dates this franchise. And this installment in particular. Just having the American Express card float out, and sure the people in the theater were all like, don't leave home without it, and fucking it's so dated. That's one thing that they should not have put in this movie, at all, because it dates it so much. It feels so 80s, but so does this whole series, so it really doesn't matter. But that gag in particular is so dated. You see that 50 years from now, and people are going to be like, the fuck does that even mean? Even less than that, you show someone from the youngest generation now, people who are just getting into high school or something, show them this movie, they won't understand the fucking joke. They're not gonna get fucking American Express, don't leave home without it. They're gonna not know that. No way. And then we have the gravekeeper breaking the fourth wall and just saying some folks have a strange form of entertainment or some shit like that while I was looking right at the camera. I don't know. it's so silly, some of the stuff in this. Upon the last few rewatches, this film fell from grace for me by quite a bit. Like I said, from being one of my favorites growing up. And it's the only film in the whole franchise though that has actual kids at the camp. Right? Yeah, because I've seen the first half of the franchise, basically. Can't think, and there's no kids in there. No kids in this one. None of 7, 8, they're on their fucking boat on the way to Manhattan, which we still don't know how that works. Then none in Jason Goes. Yeah, this is the only one with the actual kids at the camp, which is interesting because it took 6 fucking movies to get actual children at a children's camp. Where this whole series takes place. The entire paintball scene is fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely stupid. That whole scene is just filled with just misogynistic fucking talking between the two guys who can't believe that the female executive fucking shot them with paintballs and won the game, so they gotta be all pissed off. And then the other guy who gets his arm ripped out of his socket and thrown against the tree and it leaves the fucking bloody smiley face. That's so stupid. Come on, that's what I mean with this movie. The comedy is just it's so hit or miss. Especially as an older person, as you get older, from your initial watches with this franchise or these movies when you're a younger person growing up. That's so fucking dumb, man. And I don't know, that whole scene makes me just roll my eyes every single time I watch it. And the smiley face thing is just so fucking out there. That is just so ridiculous. And then the whole dorky stupid dude who's walking around and prancing around he's just an idiot, a complete idiot, and with the big glasses and just we get it, he's a dorky motherfucker, he's fucking juggling his gun and shit, and he drops it and then he's looking for it nowhere near where that gun dropped. The gun dropped over there, he's looking around over here in the leaves and shit. And the music that's playing, while he's moving around and shit, it's so it's so fucking silly, man. It really is. It reminds me of Halloween 5. When the fucking circus music kicks in, with the 2 cops. I'll never understand that decision. Like, that was so fucking weird. Like, why they put that music in there. This reminds me of that. But, like, on a smaller scale, because it's kind of less random, because of the scene it's taking place in is already ridiculous. But, like, I don't know, man. That whole thing, that whole paintball scene is just absolutely crazy. And then, like, the triple decapitation would have been awesome if, like, we actually got to see a triple decapitation. But we don't. We just see, like, 3 bodies land, and then we see 3 bodies fall down. Like, that's it. Like, if we had the gore from, like, Savini doing this, and we actually got to see 3 heads get lopped off at the same time, with, like, blood squirting out and shit like that as they hit the ground, like, best kill in the movie. Like, by far. But it's not, because it's just not good. Like, it's creative, and that's one thing that they had to do as they moved on, like, from this movie forward, even from the last one, is they had to get more creative and inventive with the kills, because they couldn't show as much gore, because the MPAA was just up this franchise's ass, like, from, like, 4 onward, and it shows more and more with each entry in this franchise. And, like, the cops can't tell that the Jason's grave was dug up. Like, no. Like, he's been there for, like, how long? Like, fucking years and years he's been supposedly buried and dead. The whole thing that happens, and that's a whole nother thing. This takes place after part 5. Even though, obviously, it's a different actor playing Tommy Jarvis. But this does include 5 in the timeline. This is still one whole timeline. So, in the last movie, it was Roy. So Jason's been dead since Tommy Jarvis was a young kid in Friday 4. So this is like 10 plus years that Jason's been fine and at rest and dead and not causing any trouble. And then Tommy goes and ruins all of that by resurrecting him in order to what? To kill him? None of this makes sense. Like he wants to resurrect Jason to make sure he's dead, so he can't hurt anybody anymore and kill anybody. But yet he's been dead and hasn't killed anybody for like a decade. I don't know, man. You explain it to me. But they can't tell the grave was dug up. Like, I mean, we're talking about like 2 of the most incompetent fucking police officers ever. Like every cop in all of these slasher movies are just like, if you want to be a murderer, move to these towns. Like, absolutely. Move to any of these towns that actually exist where these slasher films take place, and like pray that like actors are working as cops and not like the other way around. But like, you will not get caught. Like, impossible. Like, the cops are just absolute fucking retards who work at these who work in these slasher movies. Then we have Court is like the only other non-main character name that I remember from this movie, just because I like his character. Like I said in the last video, like from 5 onward, more like from this movie onward, it is hard to remember like the majority of these characters' names. Like, they're just not memorable, like, at all. I don't remember any of the people's names in this movie, except for Tommy, Meg, and Court. That's it. Like, that's all of them. And then his whole Indian tracking story, when he's, like, showing the kids and stuff, and he's like, "This, all right, you see these Indian markings and stuff, and they put this here, because, like, if, like, the chief and stuff, he wanted to run off with a better bitch, and, like, he had his whole story about that is so funny. Like, that's like somewhere where the comedy works for me in this. But then, like, there'll be something else next, and it'll be like, oh, come on, man. Like, really? Like, they did this? But then, that manipulating prick with this girl that are out making out wherever the fuck they are, with him saying, like, oh, yeah, you thought I would just take you here and just to sleep with you, right? Like, you know what? I'm tired as it is, and I've been working out, and it's such a dirty chore, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, starts getting busy with him. And he's like, "Ah, oh, fuck it, so, you fucking yeah, I know your tricks, motherfucker." Like, they're all just there to up the body count. Like, that's the whole reason they exist. That's the whole reason fucking the paintball scene exists. It's the whole reason the gravekeeper exists. Because he gets the fucking, what, a bottle to the neck or whatever. His sweet little liquor he was drinking. So he gets killed with a broken bottle. Then the couple gets impaled, like double impaled on the bike. Again, cool. Bloodless, like goreless, like, but still cool. And then the cream. I gotta distance myself. We got Alright, so a jump scare with a kid screaming is another jump scare that, like, doesn't work when you know that no kids are getting harmed in your movie. Like, we know no kid was getting killed in this movie. Like, actually, I can think of very few films, especially like in the 80s, that kill a child. Which the Blob remake in what is it, 88? Or late 80s? They kill a kid in that. And that's a pretty fucking gruesome fucking kill, too. But that's rare. Like, that I can think of, and not many off the top of my head, actually. So, like, that's a rare thing. So, like, especially in the midst of the popularity of this franchise, in a more comedic film, you know that none of these kids are getting hurt in any way. So having a girl scream, like, really doesn't do anything, because you know it's just a scream, and it's not Jason, it's not anything to be worried about. It's just a jump scare that don't work. I mean, you don't see it too often, or in this exact context. Just something to point out. Who knows? And then Court with the girl fucking in the RV, when she's like, "You can't finish until the song ends," and he's like, "How long is this? How much longer for the song?" And she's like, 10 minutes. Dude, that reminds me so many times of, like, past girlfriends and stuff like that. Like, always thinking to myself, like, thank God we don't have my music playing, because, like, they would have said that same thing, like, fucking, like, "Oh, don't finish till this song ends." Like, what song is this? Oh, it's Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick. How long is it? Well, it's like the whole album. It's like 44 minutes long. Or, like, how long is that Grateful Dead jam? How much longer is it? Oh, it's got like 32 minutes left. It's Dark Star, fucking. Just like the length of my music that I listen to would not work out well in that situation. And then we get a Smokey the Bear shout out here. See, I brought up Smokey in the first movie, in the first video, about all the fires at Camp Crystal Lake. And now we get a shout out to Smokey the Bear here. See? People think on the same wavelengths. And then, like, who the fuck do you think unplugged a plug from an outlet? Like, in that situation, if you were in an RV with some other person, in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, and power got cut off, and you know it had to be the plug falling out, is what she thinks. Yeah, that means that somebody pulled it out. Like, there's no other option. Like, there's no other option besides, like, an animal chewing through the wire. Which, yeah, they don't know until they get outside. And he sees that the wire's frayed and been pulled out of the fucking socket or whatever. But, like, if you're in the middle of nowhere and the actual, like, plug got unplugged from the outlet, there's no other option. Like, that's it. Like, somebody else unplugged it. Like, there's no other scenario where that works. So you should immediately just fucking start the car and get the hell out of there, because there is a murderer after you. But they don't seem too concerned about that. Even though he does say, "Let's get out of here," like, unless you want to like look end up like those frayed wires. That's pretty funny. Never in a franchise, though, has so many people been wrong about someone out in the woods. Like, these people here say, like Court says, like, there's somebody out there, but there's not. Like, Jason's in the RV already. And there's so many other times in this franchise where someone's like, I feel like someone's watching me, or like there's someone out here, and Jason ain't out there. Like he's like in the car already, or he's in the house they're about to walk into. Like I've never seen a franchise where everyone thinks that someone is outside in the woods with them, and they're always wrong. And then they always die, like right afterwards. And they can't tell the tale of, no, there's not always someone outside. Sometimes they're in the place you're going and you're about to be murdered. They can't tell that part. Then we have Alice Cooper's Teenage Frankenstein, which is cool to hear during this. And then Jason pressing the girl's face through the RV wall. That's a cool kill. Like, that's probably my favorite kill in the movie, just because of how unique it is. And it doesn't need any gore or anything like that. It just, you see like her fucking mouth outline and stuff come through the wall. Awesome stuff. And then Court's getting stabbed in the ear as the music freezes on Frankenstein, Stein. Like he's kind of like getting hit in the ear, and his brain is like shutting off as soon as like that line from the song is like echoing. Like really cool effect the way that they did that. And then having the RV flip and explode. Really cool stuff. And then Judge Judy's getting fucking old, man. Like, yeah, this has nothing to do with the movie. I was watching this on Pluto TV. And trust me, if I gotta sit through the fucking commercials on Pluto TV as often as they are, then you motherfuckers hearing about them too. Like, if I had to suffer through those, you guys are suffering with me. And yeah, Judge Judy's getting fucking old. She apparently has like a new show or some shit, like, which is only on Pluto TV, which I don't know anyone who exclusively watches Pluto, but she's got a new something apparently. Meg and her dad's dynamic in this movie. I'm just going to abruptly jump in and out of commercials. Like, her and her dad's dynamic is funny as shit. Like, it's a funny little portrayal of a teenage daughter being rebellious against her sheriff father. And it's handled very well. It's fun just seeing her little like banter back and forth to her dad, like when he's being serious with her and she's trying to joke everything off and like saying like when she picks the phone up and she says like, oh no, yeah, this is his daughter, like he's in the bathroom like draining his lizard right now. Oh, here he comes, like gotta go. Like really cool stuff. Really nice dynamic between the two of them. Then we have the little deputy saying that that they found two of the kids or something and that they're using Jason's old MO. What's Jason's MO? Like, besides being like a brutal, cold-blooded, like killing machine, he doesn't really have like a specific MO. Like, he's used every weapon under the sun. Like, he's used fucking wire to strangle people. He used pickaxe. He's used a fucking pitchfork. He's used a regular axe. He's used a cleaver. He's used a machete. He used fucking everything. His own bare hands he's used like multiple times. So like, what exactly is his MO? Like, just seeing two people stabbed brutally? Like, that's just a crazy killer guy. Like, that doesn't mean it's Jason. Like, that's a weird fucking line. And we have a lot of like horror callbacks in this movie. I mean, really blatantly obvious ones, but we have like Cunningham Road in this movie, which obviously Sean S. Cunningham, who created the series. We have the town over that the sheriff says he's going to call Carpenter, which you don't even have to explain that. And then Karloff's department store or grocery store, whatever that store is, Karloff's. Fucking Boris Karloff. Like, I mean, if you're gonna put like horror references in your movie, like try to make them a little more interesting, like a little less on the nose. Like, come on, like Carpenter and fucking like Karloff, like we know, like pick something a little more like obscure, so it's like a little bit like more of a like scavenger hunt of trying to find these little like Easter eggs you throw in your movie. I don't know. I just feel like those are like really obvious and like really on the nose. So it's Friday the 13th today again. For the first time now since, what, part 2? Pretty sure since part 2. And he dug him up. Tommy dug Jason up the night before Friday the 13th in this movie. Like on Thursday the 12th. Like, that was the night going into Friday the 13th that he decided to dig Jason up. After all these years, like I said, of him being dormant and dead, and deader than dead, and fucking rotting with maggots on his face, and not hurting or killing anybody. The fuck is that? Oh, I saw that already. Sorry. And yeah, like, what does any of that have to do with anything? Like, I will never understand that. Like, he decided to, like, tempt fate by digging up Jason's body, leading into his birthday, and the day that he went on his murderous rampage, like a decade or more before that. That's like digging up Michael Myers on Halloween, or like on the 30th, leading into Halloween. Like, I don't know. That seems like he's really testing fate with the date that he chose to do this. And then we have the head twist with the hell's her name? I know it, Cece. I only know that because they mention her name at some point. And when she gets pulled out, she thinks it's Court is fucking around with her and the other girl. And she thinks it's Court, like, outside the window, and she pours the soda on him, and nothing happens. She goes back to the window, and she gets pulled out the window and out of her slippers, like, again, so silly, man. And she gets pulled out of her slippers, and she gets her head twisted around. That looks cool. I mean, like I said, it's goreless, but a head twist, you don't really need much, and we get to see her head fall out of a car later. So it's some cool stuff there. And then, like, the other girl, like, you hear the sounds. Like, the sound design is, like, very prominent in that scene. Like, you hear her scream when she gets pulled out the window. Like, ah! And then you hear... like something hit the ground. Like a body hitting the ground. And this girl hears all this. She hears... ah! And she doesn't put together that her friend just got murdered. Like, those are the only sounds that, if I heard those sounds, that's the only thing I would think of, is that my friend just got her neck broken and was murdered. Like, I crack shit all the time. I crack my neck and, like, all that. I know what a neck cracking sounds like. If I heard somebody's neck get twisted, like, completely around, I would know that's a neck being twisted. I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe not. I have no fucking clue. I've never been in that situation. But I'm guessing I would. And then hearing, like, I know what someone falling to the ground sounds like. So, like, just those three sounds, even just omitting the scream as the first one, this girl just goes right back to bed. Like, she just says, like, oh, you guys, don't wake the kids, and goes right back to bed. I don't know, man. The situational awareness of these people. And then there's Tommy and Meg are driving down the road, and there's a sign that says, a yellow sign that says speeding, but like it reads like that, like a question, because there's a question mark above and below speeding. I've never seen a sign like that, like on the road. Has anybody else? Like, I've never seen a sign that says speeding. Like, if you're speeding, like, you better slow down soon. Or are you speeding? Like, if so, let us know at this phone number. Like, I don't know why that sign would exist, but I'm sure it does. Like, I cannot picture them making a sign like that just for this movie. But I've never seen a sign like that. Let me know if you've seen a speeding sign before, because I definitely never have. From Pluto TV, Evil is now streaming on Paramount Plus. No idea what it's about, but it's evil. And it's streaming on another streaming service that none of us want to pay the money for. So just in case you wanted to know, Pluto felt like telling me. So I'm telling you. And then she really thought she was out driving all those cops. I mean, yeah, she was driving pretty good and she was driving pretty fast. But there was no way she was outrunning those cops. Especially as her father, as a sheriff, like, he's gonna let that go? Like, if that was my daughter running around and shit, like, there is no way I'm letting any of that situation happen. That situation is being shut down immediately. So just the fact that she thought she was getting away from these cops is funny as shit, because that was never happening. Then the bloody machete that the girl brings up to whatever the other girl's name is, like the little girl who brings the machete to the counselor, So you don't remember these people's names. And she, like, first of all, like, just having that kid near a fucking machete is scary for me. Like, just seeing this kid holding a bloody machete is just like, oh, Jason, why do you gotta be dropping shit? Like, and why does he drop stuff? Like, can he just reuse those weapons? Like, wouldn't he want his presence not to be known? Wouldn't he not want to be dropping bloody weapons all over the place? And he does this, like, in multiple movies. Like, not even just him. Like, his mother did it in the first one and left the bloody axe tucked in bed. And then we have one of the other ones, 3 or 4 or something. No, in 2, with the bloody bed sheets and everything. And then 3, it happens too, with the fucking bathtub. And, like, none of these people immediately think of murder, that there's a murderer on the loose. Like, yeah, I mean, it's far-fetched. It's not like a normal situation for you to be, like in a murder situation, that your friends are being killed. Of course, it's not something that you're going to jump to immediately. But, like, how much do you need? Like, how much proof do you need that there is a fucking killer somewhere and that half your friends or more of them are now dead? Like, a bloody machete pretty much, like, will take me to there. Like, it would. Like, if you know your friends well enough, like, I know my fucking core little group of friends for a long time. They are not the type of people who would play a prank of having a bloody machete just laid out somewhere on the lawn of a camp for somebody to bring to me, and, like, that's their prank. Like, no, they don't, because so that none of that would ever hit me as a prank. That would be immediately, there's a fucking killer, it's time to go. Like, we gotta get out of here. But apparently, no one believes in murder in these movies until they're getting an implement of it shoved or, like, just poked or caressed into their bodies, like, in some way. Like, some type of murder weapon being driven in some way into their bodies, then they believe in murder. Before that, it's just a funny prank. The 1, 2, 3, say a prayer and everything scary goes away advice. Cute advice for the little girl. Like, I mean, even though in this movie it shouldn't even work because Jason's a real thing. So, like, it's just the luck of the plot that he disappears when she tries it. But that's dangerous advice to give to an impressionable kid, man. Because that shit, what if that's the type of impressionable kid that it sticks with them for a very long time? Like, I've fucking 1, 2, 3 and said a prayer and opened my eyes and the bills were still there. They didn't get paid. I've 1, 2, 3 closed my eyes, said a prayer, and fucking car was still totaled. I've 1, 2, 3 fallen asleep and could have dreamt a million prayers. Woken up the next morning. And my girlfriend at the time was still in the bed next to me. So, the scary things definitely do not go away after a fucking prayer and, like, 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. So, like, just don't give kids, like, the end-all, be-all, like, advice, like, it'll take care of everything in life, because it won't. So, maybe make sure you know how impressionable the child that you're talking to is. And then, like, blood spraying as a death scene is so lazy. Like, it's almost like this movie could have got PG-13. Like, without a doubt. I'm pretty sure this is the only movie in the franchise with no nudity in it, like, at all. And there's almost no gore. Like, they definitely could have got a PG-13 with this. And I feel like the whole reason that they did that whole room covered in blood is to make it an R. It's like, after seeing the final cut, they were like, damn, man, like, you can actually get a fucking PG-13 for this. Like, don't you want an R? Like, I know, like, throw in, like, a scene with just blood everywhere, and, like, we'll get you an R rating for that. Like, something had to have happened like that. Because, like, did you see that room? Like, Cece was decapitated outside of the cabin. The only person who was killed in there was the other counselor girl, who finds the machete that the little girl brings her. All that blood came from her. It looks like Freddy Krueger, like, came and took, like, a vacation from his movies to come onto this franchise early and recreated Johnny Depp's kill from the first Nightmare in that cabin. Because that's how much blood is all over the place. That all came from that one counselor. Like, what did he do to her? Like, and all we see in that kill is blood fly on the window. Like, the only series that can get away with that is the Hatchet series. And that's because usually before blood sprays on a tree or something, we see some gnarly practical effects and like some awesome kills. So that gets a pass. And thank God Meg really liked Tommy, or he would have never got out of that fucking cell. Like, none of this movie would have happened. Like, there would be no ending to this movie. Jason would still be free if Meg, for some reason, didn't have the hots for Tommy. So that was very, very plot convenient. Wherever the red dot goes, ya bang. And that was the line I used to quote back in the day with this fucking not so funny and quotable now, like on this rewatch. Like, man, my childhood really played a lot with this movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love this movie. It's still a ton of fun to watch. But like, ranking them like up with the others, and especially after just watching the first 5, like you could see the decline. Or not even decline, but just like change. You can see the evolution of this franchise. And then how does Tommy know that Jason has to be buried underwater in Camp Crystal Lake to be at rest? Like, again, like, he was pretty damn at fucking rest like for 10 years when he dug him up at the beginning of the movie. So like, how does he know that though? Like, for him to say like he has to be buried at sea. I mean, at sea. He has to be buried at Camp Crystal Lake where he died, presumably, where he drowned as a kid. So he has to get taken back there, but yet he was dead and buried just fine in a grave. Like I said, I'm not getting into that whole thing again, but like, really, like, how does he know that? It's just a guess, and it's a stupid guess because he would still be buried and dead if it wasn't for Tommy doing anything that he did in the beginning of this movie. If Tommy just like went to the bar that night, Jason would still be dead and buried. So, I don't know. Neil Patrick Harris cooking with his lover. Just another commercial. Just wanted to share that with you. I love NPH. Who doesn't? And then the head crush of the deputy after he shoots him like 5-6 times. Jason, he shoots him in the fucking chest. Like, aren't they trained to shoot to kill? Like, you're gonna shoot this big ass hulking man in the chest 5-6 times? Like, don't go for his head at all. Like, just in case you might actually kill him. Really? Like, this is the training they get, and this is why they are the most incompetent police officers. And then so we get Cece's head falls out of a cop car, which, back to Jason's dramatic timing, man. He didn't even know that someone was going to go near that cop car. But yet he still had time, and it's funny to think about him just walking by and like sneaking Cece's head in that car real quick while he and then like sneaks back off and like, I'm gonna get whoever pops into this car. The head will freak them out and ruin their night. And then we get the sheriff who gets like broken in half, but like this way, like he gets like his back broken backwards, like with his legs fold over. That's pretty cool. That's a cool kill. And then Jason busting through the cabin door where the kids are and they all scream and stuff. That's a cool shot. That's a really cool shot of Jason coming through the cabin. Then I am so sick of all these fucking medicine commercials. Like, every commercial, man, is is a fucking drug, and then you don't even know what it's for. Like, they just show like someone kiting, and they're flying a kite, and they have the biggest smile, and they're happy as can be. Then like next they're on a boat, and they're sailing, and then you find out it's a drug for fucking whatever. Like, just something completely nonsensical that has nothing to do with the commercial. Like, at all. Like fucking like pre-ejaculation for men. And then like you see him smiling, like sailing a boat. Like, what, he couldn't sail a boat beforehand when he was coming too fast? Like, I don't get any of these commercials, man. But I have to bring them your way because Like I said, if I'm suffering through them, so are fucking you. And I don't even know why I'm watching this shit on Pluto. This is the only entry I had to watch on Pluto because it was not on Prime. But I own this whole thing on fucking DVD. I own like it's like one of the few physical media I still own is the whole Friday series. But like both of my consoles are digital only and there's no Blu-ray on those, so I'd have to take out an old DVD player and pop that in. I'm not doing all of that. Fucking, you guys should know me by now. Fucking hitting a few buttons on PS5 that works a lot better. And yeah, that's right. They throw a fucking commercial in there with like 3.5 minutes left in the movie. So the fucking audacity they have for doing that. Then fucking Tommy yells at Jason, and this works again like every one of these other movies that you can just yell at Jason. Like whether you're a female, you can pretend to be his mom. Whether you're a guy, you can pretend to be him himself, like as a kid or a younger dude or whatever. So like all we need is more info on Jason's father, and then basically anybody can incapacitate him. All they have to do is Jason. Jason, remember? Do you remember Jason? Like, remember is his kryptonite. If you say remember to this motherfucker, his head is going to explode and never grow back. And that's how you kill him for real. Like, him remembering is how he's going to ultimately meet his demise. So he has to keep on killing so he stays in the present. I don't know. That makes sense to me. There's a pitch for a new Friday movie. Get at it, screenwriters. And then the chain around Jason's neck while the lake's on fire and he's trying to drown Tommy, and Jason's not at rest. Like, even though he is down there and the chains around his neck, he's back where he was supposed to be buried. He's not at rest, not one bit. Still has to try to kill Tommy. And then Meg saves Tommy and cuts Jason's neck apart with the boat propeller. And you can own a urine collection system for a family member who's sick and in bed, bedridden, who, you know, like your bedpans and stuff, you don't want to deal with that. Urine collection system. You call now at 1-800-221-5014. Actual phone number. So if you thought that you were just going to watch 45 minutes of me talking about Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, you're wrong. I just saved the life of a family member of yours by giving you this vital information for urine collection systems and how to acquire one, and gave you the actual phone number. So don't even bitch about including commercials. You're getting the whole experience. If I'm having a viewing experience, you're getting it too. Absolutely. And then we have a shot of Jason, and then that too. That shit came on like right before the last scene. Like literally like 3 minutes after the last commercial break. Like this one was only that one commercial, which was fucking, I was ready to just shut the movie off because I know how it ends. But like that was right before the final scene in this movie. And the final scene is just looking down in the water and the chain around Jason's neck and then seeing his eye open and then the credits. And they put a fucking commercial like right before that. Like, I hate Pluto, man. Like, I hate Pluto TV so much. Like, anytime I'm watching Pluto from now on, I did this, I think, with Jeepers Creepers 2, because that was driving me nuts. Because that's like an almost 2-hour movie. And to sit through commercials every 15 minutes on that, oh, dude, it's fucking terrible. Like, it is so bad. And I was even mentioning some of the commercials during that video. So anytime there's something on Pluto and it has to get done, guess what? You're getting the whole fucking experience. So let's move on to Friday Part 7, A New Blood. This is going to be fun, because I actually really love A New Blood. Jason Takes Manhattan is going to be fucking hysterical. Just break apart that movie. And Jason X, if I get to it, then we'll have fun time with that too. And then we'll just have the reboot and Freddy vs. Jason left. But alright guys, I will see you in a little bit with, I don't know why my camera's stuttering like that. Part, whatever we're up to, 7, right? Yeah, New Blood. Take care.